Okay, everyone. Hello again. This is Jim Laughter in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And we are going to, believe it or not, we are going to actually finish this book that we've been working on. We're going to do our final edition of John Maxwell's book, Developing the Leader Within You. This has been a long study. Some might even say arduous, but it has been a long, interesting study, and we have covered a lot of stuff. And so we're going to wrap this book up today. I'm going to share my screen, and then we will just flat get with it. And get my everything to work like I want it to work. We will be good to go. Move me up there out of the way. And we will just get started. So we are finishing up John Maxwell's book, Developing the Leader Within You. This will be part 11. This is the final part of an 11-part review. I've never done 11-part review. This is the longest one I've ever done. The longest one we've ever done was 7 parts, and that was a good one on Stephen Covey's books. I do need to take just a moment, though, and put in another correction. Because in our last part, when I was talking to you about some of the different people who made some pretty good quotes, I mentioned Jack Parr. And I watched it. I watched the episode again today just so I could be ready for right now. And I realized that I said in that study that Jack Parr was a TV host, which he was, but I also said that he was one of the first TV hosts of the Today Show. That he was not the host of the Today Show. He was the host of the Tonight Show. So that's a late. It's called a late night, I believe, with Johnny Carson, or a late night with Conan O'Brien, or whatever it is now. Jimmy Fallon. He's the guy that's running it now. So any case, so if you was thinking back through all your great historical knowledge, television knowledge, and you heard me say the Today Show, well, you know what? I made one other mistake last year too. If you want to know what it was, I'll tell you what it was. I thought I had made a mistake and I hadn't. So I get to make at least one mistake a year, and that's it. If you believe that, I've got some oceanfront property here in Oklahoma that I can sell you cheap. Okay, so John Maxwell, developing the leader within you. We have come to the conclusion that everything rises and falls on leadership. Absolutely everything that we do in our development, looking for leadership, we just need to know that everything we do, every decision we make, any growth that we have, any success that we have in building a business is going to rest, it's going to rise, and it's going to fall on leadership. That is what we are working on. We are digging down into ourselves, and we're trying to let that old tiger escape, the one that you've got pinned up inside of you that keeps growling and saying, I'm a leader. All I need is some development. And that's what we're working on here. So everything rises and falls on leadership. We've looked at all these areas right here. We've defined influence and priorities and integrity. We've talked about creating positive change. These are all things that are essential for developing leadership. We've talked about problem solving, not being a problem, but problem solving. We've talked about attitude, how important attitude is to your business. It's absolutely essential that you have a great attitude, and or at least a good attitude, a level attitude. I showed you an attitude indicator in the cockpit of an airplane, and how you can, when you're flying level, then the attitude indicator will show you how you are in relation to the horizon out in front of you. And as long as you're flying level, the horizon will be straight across like this. But once you start getting out of kilter, you may be setting the same, the pilot sets the same, but the horizon changes, the attitude changes, and we need to be careful about what we do and what we don't do affects our attitude. We talked about people being your most appreciable asset. We talked about that, and we talked about vision. And then last week, or the last session that I did, I talked about self-discipline, and this was very, very important. So today, what we're going to do, we're going to wrap the book up. We're going to have a final session, and we're going to finish the book up talking about, now the book calls this staff development. Now, we are in the network marketing industry, which means that we have a volunteer business. We don't have, we don't hire and fire people. So to say that we have a staff, we don't have a staff. I don't have anybody who works for me. So I don't have anybody that I've ever hired, and I don't have anybody that I've ever fired. So if you were to call my voicemail number, you'll hear a voicemail message that says that if you're looking for a way to make a part-time income, and I go through a spiel on that. And one of the things that I say in my message is that the position with us is not a salaried position. This is not an hourly wage. What we're looking for are for business partners who want to convert some of their free time into income. And I give a little specifics of what I'm looking for, and I'll get into some of that here during the lesson. So staff development, or let's call it team development, is the most important lesson in leadership. Because if you can learn how to develop the people around you and get them to see what you see, if you can get people to catch the vision that you have, you can develop a team of people that, I'm telling you, in network marketing, 10 or 15 or 20 people will that you could develop into leaders, and at least the leadership within them, that a few people in network marketing can make you rich. It can. That's not a get rich quick scheme. It takes work. The reason the work is in network is because it takes work to get the net. Let me just tell you the truth about that. So staff development, team development is one of the, is, in my opinion, the most important lesson that we're doing. I did talk very strongly about integrity, and I talk real strong about attitude. And matter of fact, I've tried to be as strong as I could on every one of these lessons. But I really believe that this lesson, if you'll grab hold of what I'm fixing to tell you today and put it into practice, I think that you can at least begin to unleash the leadership that is in you. I looked up definitions. I like to look up definitions of things. And so I looked up the definition of staff development, and there's really not much in the dictionary that talks about staff development. Staff development is really a human resources ideal. It's something that goes place in the work in the workplace, or something that managers talk about. The definition of it is, it shows it as a noun, and it says that staff development is improvement of the knowledge and skills of employees within an organization by providing them with training. So developing the people who work for you. Now, again, we don't have anybody in our business who works for us. We have people that we work with and people who work with us. And so I broke it down a little bit, and I just switched over and I looked up the definition of just development. And the US definition of development is it's a noun, and development indicates growth. So development is the process in which someone or something grows or changes. Think about your network business. All of us start out at one simple level at the very bottom of a network business marketing business organization. And we have the opportunity as network marketers to grow our business to any level that we desire. You can stay small and do absolutely nothing, which a lot of people do. A lot of people just get into network marketing just to buy a product, and that's absolutely fine. And then there's other people who come into network marketing who see it as an opportunity to build an income. And with that kind of an idea, then we look for development, we look for growth. So it's the process in which someone or something grows or changes and becomes more advanced. So in network marketing, particularly in our network marketing business, we have the opportunity to grow. We have the opportunity to change. I have the chance to become a better me. So do you. And then we have the opportunity to become more advanced. So you can advance through the different levels of growth and leadership. Sorry about that. And really make something special of your life. But there's a difference between training, which is covered under staff development, and there's a difference between training and developing and development. When someone is hired for a job, if you ever have applied for a job and been hired, when someone is hired for a job, they're hired, and then they're taught the task that they're expected to perform. When I went into the Air Force 51 years ago, 51 years ago this month, come think of it, I was put on an airplane and I was flown to Texas. And when I stepped off that airplane, got on the bus, went out to the base, there was this guy came out there. They stood us, it was at night, which was scary enough. And there was 50 of us in what was called a flight, or Army is called a platoon. But we were brought out onto this big black tarmac and lined up. Felt like they was lining us up to shoot us at a firing squad or something. And then this guy with taps on his shoes and a Smokey Bear hat on and had a mean scowl on his face. He came out there and started yelling and screaming, and he called me words that I had never heard before. and from that day on, him and his assistant, if you can see this picture right up here, you can't see it clearly, but that picture right there, that's my old basic training picture, and my old drill sergeants are on there. And in my opinion, they were the meanest people on earth. I'd never met anybody as mean as them. But what they did is they took us 50 young recruits and they just tore us right down to the ground. They stripped us of absolutely everything, absolutely everything. They took our luggage, they took all of our clothes, they took everything and locked it away. They issued us these gosh awful ugly t-shirts and everything, and they just took us and they tore us right down, because their job was to take people who had never been in a military environment before and tear us right down to the ground and build us up to where we could fill the role of military members. This is training. This is training. This is taking somebody and teaching them how to do something, which you can do in your network marketing business. You can do. I told a fellow today that I showed my business to. He's joining me as a business partner, and I told him that what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you how to do what I do, and I'll teach you and I'll help you and I'll guide you and I'll coach you to the point where you tell me you don't need my help anymore. Then I can turn away from him to a certain degree and help someone else. But development is essentially about teaching them and then preparing them. Not just teaching somebody to do a job, but preparing them to go on and be great at that job in roles that are different and beyond just the basic knowledge of the job that you hire them for. So corporations are always looking for people that they can hire, but they're always looking for people that can advance through leadership levels. And that's exactly how it is with network marketing. I hope that makes some sense. When we were talking about, if you'll remember, when we did chapter 7, we talked about the development of people. And I talked to you about how people are your most appreciable assets, and that the people in your organization will be about the only thing in your business that will appreciate in value. It's the people that you are with, that you bring into your business, that you develop, that will really make a great difference in your business. Now, I'm just going to tell you that this chapter here is huge. There's a lot of stuff in it that we are not going to be able to cover, simply because I've already spent 15 minutes just on the introduction. So I want to move on through. But there's a lot of stuff that we're just not going to be able to cover. Time is going to be limited. So let's move along here and let's just talk about a couple of things here. I do want to, so one thing about network marketing is we talk a lot about time. It takes time to develop people and to build a business. And one thing that you will know, and that I know, and I hope that you know, is that time is limited. So although you'll have 24 hours in a day, you're going to come to the end of the day someday when you're not, if you try to do it by yourself, you're going to come to the point where you realize that you don't have enough time to build your business by yourself. So, so you can conclude a couple of things. First of all, you're not going to have time to try to work harder to get something done. That's not going to work. And the other thing that you need to realize is that you can develop other people to help you build your business. This is called leverage. This is called duplication. This is called building a team. The closest people, so we're going to talk about bringing in people close to you. Remember, we talked about the circle of influence. We talked about the inner circle and the outer circle. The outer circle is your super circle of influence, generally a couple of hundred, 250 people around you that you influence or that influence you, and then finding 15 or 20 people to bring into a close circle with you and develop the team that you want to lead. And so the people that you bring in closest to you will determine the level of success that you become as a leader. So think about the people around you. Now, here's my old buddy Niccolo Machiavelli. He was a Renaissance man, and this is something that he said hundreds of years ago. He said the first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him. So remember, he was in the Renaissance, developing the Renaissance back when whatever the ruler said is how it went. But you know, a lot of the rulers back in that time were uneducated people. They had to have a full staff of people around them. So let's kind of paraphrase this a little bit and say the first method for estimating the intelligence of a leader is to look at the people he has around him. Leaders who continue to grow personally and bring growth to their organizations and to their business will influence many people and develop a successful team around him. Now, you're going in your networking business, you're going to be bringing in a lot of people are going to show up eventually around you, and you're going to have to pick and choose the people that you want to bring into the closest, bringing the closest to you. Andrew Carnegie, which was one of our great industrialists, said, it marks a big step in your development when you come to realize that other people can help you do a better job than you can do by yourself. Again, talking about duplication. J. Paul Getty said, I would rather benefit from 1% of the efforts of 100 people than I would 100% of my own, because 100 people doing a little bit can do more than one person doing everything. In our business and network marketing, we don't look for just one or two people to do a bunch. I told the fellow today that I did my business presentation to, that you don't have to be a good presenter. You don't have to be the best presenter in town. When I get him signed up in my business, I don't expect him to know everything about it. I don't know everything about it. Okay. That's what I told him, is that what I want you to do is learn how to be a good inviter. Get people on Zooms and let us, and the people who know what we're doing, been doing it for a while, let us do the talking for you and show the business for you. You still get paid for it. Okay. So let them benefit that way. Let me see here. Let's see. Let me just see what else I've got here on this page before I move on to the next one. Ralph Waldo Emerson said that no man can sincerely try to help another without helping himself. So if you're going to build a business and you're going to be a leader, when you find yourself developing the people around you, you're going to find that you develop you probably at a faster rate than you do the people around you. When you think about this study right here, and then all the other episodes, other parts of that I've done on this book. This is the 11th part. Now the chances are that you're going to watch this one time. You may go back and watch it again. I hope you do. But I'm going to tell you the truth about it. I outline every chapter, and which means that I outline it, which means I read it, I go through and I outline it, I pick out what I'm going to talk about, I put it on a slide, I bring it to you, I talk about it. So the truth is, I get more out of these studies than you do. And the reason for it is because you will watch this one time. But and hopefully you bought the book and you'll read that book, this chapter we're going through right now, you'll read it one time. But I read this chapter 4 or 5 times every chapter. So this book, when I get through with this book, I will have read this book 5 times. So I benefit me probably more than I develop the people around me, and that's required. In spite of all the problems that arise in development of your staff or your team, you're going to find 2 things going to come up that are absolutely certain. These are 2 facts that are absolutely certain. Only as we develop a team do we continually succeed. Only as we develop a team do we succeed. Do we continually succeed? There's an old Chinese proverb that says, if you're planning for 1 year, grow rice. If you're planning for 20 years, grow trees. If you're planning for centuries, grow men. So build your team around you. You can run a business, you can do any kind of business that you want and keep it small. You can contain it, you can control it. But if you're looking for long-term growth, you won't be able to do it all by yourself. You've got to develop the team around you. The second thing is, only as we develop a team do we continually multiply. Do we grow? Do we add on? Do we You need to go back and look at my episode on my edition that I did on my Facebook about pyramids versus network marketing versus pyramid, or pyramid versus network marketing. I forget what it is. I put an edition in there that talks about multiplication. You need to go back and watch that. So let's talk about a winning team for a second. Winning teams have great leaders. I covered this in the last thing, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it. But there are things that a winning team has. Winning teams have great leaders. Winning teams pick good people. Right now, I think it's the beginning. I haven't watched any of it, but we're getting into the baseball season. Well, in March, when baseball season really started, that's when they had their tryouts, and that's when they had their camps, or whatever it is that they go to. I don't really get involved with it, but that's where the teams, where people come together and try out for, let's say, a professional baseball team. Well, not everybody who goes to the tryout gets picked. They look for the best talent, and they pick those talents to let them try out and get on the team, whether they make it or not, whether they make it into the major leagues or the minor leagues, doesn't matter. Have you seen that I saw just a while ago a commercial on television where they're picking basketball players, and it's a little girl, and she's picking her team, and there's this little bitty short kid about this tall standing in line, and then there's Charles Barkley, who's about that tall. He's 7'5", or I don't know how tall. He's a great big giant guy, and she picks him because they're going to play basketball. Well, the choice was pretty simple: pick the tall guy or the short kid. And so when you're building your team, you want to be a good leader, a great leader, but you also got to pick some good people to have around you. Network marketing is the only business that I've ever heard of where you can go into business and you can pick the player you want on your team and then play to win. Great teams play to win. It's not enough not to lose. Great teams, winning teams, play to win. And that is important. Winning teams make other team members more successful. If you're on a winning team, then you can come together with the other members of your team, and it doesn't matter who shoots the ball. On a winning team, and if you were, let's say you were on a basketball team, and I don't know a whole lot about basketball, but I do know that at any one given time there's 5 players on the court of that one team and 5 players on the other team. I believe it's 5. It could be 6. I don't know the first thing about basketball, but I do know one thing: that if there's 5 players on the court playing, then there's other players sitting on the bench. I don't know how many, 10 or 12. I don't know how many people on a basketball team. I don't really care. I don't watch it. But I do know one other thing about basketball, and that is if somebody on that team shoots a basket and they make a 1-pointer or a 2-pointer or a 3-pointer or however many other points that there are to make, that one player doesn't keep that point. That point goes to every player on that team just by being a virtue of being on that team. And that's how it is with network marketing, is that you have a team of people and everybody on that team benefits from everybody else's efforts. That is called leveraging. And I'm babbling, so let me keep going here. Winning teams keep improving. You don't want to get to a point in your team building and in your team development. You don't want to get somewhere and then just get stuck. Remember, everything falls and rises on leadership. Now, there's 2 ways that you can get people to do what you want them to do. You can compel people to do what you want them to do, what you can compel them, or you can persuade them. And to compel somebody means that you have to force them to do it. And I have never been anybody who I have never liked to be forced to do something. However, I have been persuaded to do things that I may not have wanted to do or that I didn't see the importance of. So when you bring people into your team, you can try to force them. It's not going to work. But if you can persuade your team into personal growth, if you can persuade your team about the importance of going to events and that sort of thing, and persuade people about learning your compensation plan and that sort of thing, they become better for it, and your team becomes better for it. Now, to learn how to persuade people, of course, you got to know a little bit about human nature, and that all comes along. Moving right along. 4 facts. Let's talk about 4 facts about excellent leaders, because I know that I'm babbling and I'm running, and I've already gone a half an hour, and I've got another hour to do, but I'm not going to force myself up on you that far. 4 facts about excellent leaders. Excellent leaders create the right environment. As a leader, while you're developing your team and you are in that leadership role, not necessarily a leadership position, nobody's going to hire you to lead them. Okay, so people are going to come onto your team, and they're either going to follow you or they're not. You're either going to be the leader or you're not. But one thing about creating an excellent or creating the right environment is that the people on your team will believe in their team. We have a good team in our business because we believe in each other. We trust each other. We care about each other. And so a good leader, an excellent leader, will create an environment for success. I want the people in my business to be successful. I would love to see the people, I would love to see everybody in my business advance to the same level I'm at and bypass me. The reason for that is that the more they succeed, the more my business stabilizes. Okay. Sam Walton, the founder of Walmart, which you went shopping at today probably, said outstanding leaders go out of the way to boost the self-esteem of their personnel. If people believe in themselves, it's amazing what they can accomplish. So while you're building your team, let your people know on your team, let them know that they matter, that you want them to succeed, that you hope they'll succeed, that you expect them to succeed. Excellent leaders know basic human needs. Paul Bryant, who was the football coach he was called Bear Bryant, of the University of Alabama, he said there's 5 things that winning team members need to know. I'm going to shoot through them. I'm not going to flash them up on the screen. But it says they need to know what is expected from each one, that each one will have an opportunity to perform. Number 3, how each one is getting along. The winning team members need to know that guidance will be given where it's needed. And finally, number 5, that each will be rewarded according to his contribution. So team players come together and they know these 5 things, what's expected of them, that everybody has the same opportunity. In network marketing, everybody has the same opportunity. You cannot buy a position in network marketing. You have to rise to it. So forth and so on. So let me move on here. Excellent leaders keep control of the big 3. Now, the big 3 is not a basketball tournament. The big 3 are finance, personnel, and planning. And under finances, when you're building your team, Make sure that your team knows your marketing plan, understands the numbers. As a leader, you need to understand the numbers in your marketing plan and how they work. Personnel. Go back into my study and look at my study on the 4 color personalities for MLM. Red, yellow, blue, red, and green. And every person has their own personality type. So as a leader, you need to know how to work with people of different dispositions, because everybody, you're going to find out, speaks their own language. Go back and watch that and you'll find out. And then planning. Follow your plan. Your business has a marketing plan. It has a training plan. It has everything that you need to build your business. So learn your system and follow that system. Excellent leaders avoid the 7 deadly sins. I don't know if we've got time to go into them, so I'm not going to try to expound on them. I'm just going to tell you what they are. First one is trying to be liked rather than respected. Now, you're not going to be friends with everybody, but hopefully everybody on your team will learn to respect you. Number 2, not asking team members. We need to avoid the deadly sin of not asking team members for advice and help. I ask my team for help all the time. I want to know, is there anything else I can do for them? Let's see. Don't discourage individuals' talents. Keep away from criticism. Okay, so if you're going to criticize, make sure that you do it in private and make sure that it's constructive, not that it's destructive. One of the other 7 deadly sins is not developing a sense of responsibility in team members. Let people know what you expect of. Let people be responsible. Now, you're responsible for your business, but everybody else is responsible for their own business and their own growth. Treat everyone the same. And one of the worst things you can do in your business is fail to keep people informed. So we have a website, continuous updates. We have Facebook pages where we post announcements, all those sort of things. Keep your people informed. Now, this is my old buddy, Ross Perot. He was a great businessman, just a great businessman. Ran for president of the United States a number of years ago. I voted for him. I thought he was the guy. He kind of reminded me of Donald Trump, and I do like Donald Trump. So don't turn off just if you don't like him. But Ross Perot was a great businessman, and here's a quote that he said that I liked. I'm just going to pass it on to you. He says, "Eagles don't flock." Eagles don't flock. What you're looking for your business is you're looking for people that stand out. You're looking for people that you can build. You're looking for people that you can develop. Eagles, and let me just put it this way. You can't soar with the eagles if you're scratching with the turkeys, okay? Or scratching with chickens, all right? So you're going to have people come into your business that you're going to want to develop. Think of them as an eagle, but eagles don't flock. You will rarely ever go out and see a bunch of eagles flying together. Now you might, but the truth is most eagles fly alone. They don't. They soar. They're up there on the wind. They're catching the wind. So eagles don't flock. You have to find them one at a time. Chances of you recruiting a whole bunch of people into your business and all of them being great, chances are that's not going to happen. I'm going to skip over here and pick up another subject. Know what kind of people you need. Know what kind of people you want in your business. If you listen to my voicemail, one of the first things that I say on my voicemail is that we are not looking for welfare cases or lazy people. That I'm not looking for anybody that I have to chase all over town to get something done. I won't do it. And so if somebody sees the sign on one of our cars that says, call this number for information on part-time income, if they are if they're welfare cases, lazy people not want to do anything, don't even leave your number, because I will not take you into my business. So let me just tell you some of the things that I look for in people that I talk to. Now, there's a long list. I'm going to give you a few of them here. These are things that I look for. Now, the book has another list. You can go in and you can look them up. You can read the book, pick out the ones that are right for you, make your list, determine what it is, how you want to develop your team. But one of the things that I look for in people whenever I'm recruiting for my business is I'm looking for people who have a positive attitude. I don't want to be around an old negative Nelly. I just don't want that. I don't need. Have you ever seen Eeyore on Winnie the Pooh? Well, I'm just getting by. Oof. I want somebody who's got a positive attitude. I'm not talking about hyped up, standing on a chair whistling. I'm talking about somebody who looks at my business and say, "Wow, I believe I can do this. This looks great to me. With your help, Mr. Jim, I can build this business." A positive attitude. I'm looking for people who have a high energy level. I'm not looking for some slob laying around on the back porch drinking RC cola and eating the moon pie. That's not what I'm looking for in my business. I'm looking for people with integrity. I want people in my business that I can trust. I want people who tell me I'm going to do something and then do it. I want people who are honest. I want people who are forthright. That's what I'm looking for in my business. You can look for what you want. These are what I look for. I'm looking for people who have a good self-image. And by good self-image, I'm not talking about being a picture poster perfect. I'm not talking about models and perfectly people who have that perfect body, much like mine. I'm looking for people who have good self-image. I'm looking for people who have posture. I'm looking for people who know who they are, who like who they are, and are willing to share themselves with other people. People who have a good self-image. See, here's the deal that I know about me. I know that I am not the smartest guy in town. I know that I'm not the best looking guy in town. I know I've got a chin that looks like the wattle on a turkey. I know that. But let me tell you something about me. I like me. I like me. I like being with me just about as much as anybody I've ever been with. I do. And if I'm at home by myself, I like being with me. Okay. Because I know who I am. I know where I've been. I know what my past is. And I have a good self-image because I know me. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for people who have a good self-image. I'm looking for people with people skills. One of the things on my voicemail message, you can call it and listen to it. It says what I'm looking for is I'm looking for established, well-spoken people. And the reason for that is because in our business, we do all of our business by appointments. You have to know how to talk to people, at least have to be able to learn how to talk to people. So you have to develop some people skills. I'm looking for that in people. I'm looking for people with a sense of humor. I'm looking for somebody who'll laugh at my cotton picking jokes. But I'm looking for somebody who doesn't take themselves too cotton picking seriously. Because when you get into network marketing, you're going to run into all kinds of people. And when you're building your team, you're going to run into all kinds of people. And I don't want to be surrounded by a bunch of old sad sacks and a bunch of old grumpies who take themselves so seriously that you can't say anything to them. Okay. I want people with a good sense of humor. I'm looking for people who have a big why. I'm looking for people who have a desire. I'm looking for people who want to grow. I'm looking for people who want to go. I'm looking for people who want to build an empire, a legacy. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for somebody with a big why. If you tell me I just want to make some money, that's not good enough. That's not good enough. Why do you want to make some money? Why do you want to build a business? Are you looking for time freedom? Why do you want to get out from under that dead end job? Are you trying to get out of debt? That's a why. You need to send your kids to college. You don't have the money. That's why. You need to free up that time. You're working 80 to 100 hours a week. It's breaking you. Go home every night so wore out that you can't think. That's a good why. I'm looking for people who have a good desire. I'm looking for a great desire. I'm looking for people who have self-discipline. I'm looking for self-starters. I'm not looking for anybody that I have to chase all over town. I'm looking for people who are willing to pay the price of self-discipline, who are willing to pay the price of self-discipline, who are willing to go to the meetings, to go to the events, to read the books, to listen to the training, to make the calls, to make the appointments, to show the plan, to sign people up, and work with the people that they bring into their team. I'm looking for people with some self-discipline. I'm looking for flexible people. You're going to be able to be flexible in this business, especially in training and developing other people, because people are different. People change. Situations are going to change. And I'm looking for self-starters. I'm not looking for anybody that I have to chase all over town. You've heard me say it. I will not chase anybody to build their business. The more you know about the kind of person you need and what job or business, or what your job or business requires, the greater your odds of finding the right individual will be. So if you know what you're looking for, the chances are you will be able to find them. Know what your potential team member wants. Again, we go back to the why, and I have already lost my place. Know what your potential team member wants. No amount of money, attention, privilege, and promises will motivate a team member who really does not want to be on your team. People are going to come into your business that you are going to try like crazy to build, but the truth is, if they don't want to be there, there's not a thing in the world you can do for them. Move on to somebody else. Now, let me tell you the truth about network marketing. Joining a network marketing business is not a logical decision. Logic has very little to do about it. Generally, a person will see a network marketing presentation, they'll see the product that's sold or services that are offered, and then a compensation plan to get paid. And it's not logical for somebody to jump out into this sort of a system. It's an emotional decision. So you show your business, you develop your team on an emotional level, get down to what they want and what they need. All right. Let me see where I am, because I'm close. I know I'm close. Yeah, I'm at 47 minutes. So let's start. Let's start to wrap up. You know how I am in the wrap up. It generally takes about 10 minutes for me to get to where I'm wanting to go. But I'm just telling you right now that winning teams play to win. And if you're building a business, especially in network marketing, you better be playing to win, because somebody's going to win. Somebody's going to win. I want to read you. First of all, I just want to say that there's a difference between playing to win and playing not to lose. And it's the difference between success and mediocrity. You can play to win, and even if you don't win, the effort is enough. And there's a big difference between giving it everything you've got and playing to win than just playing not to lose. If you're fearful, you're afraid, you don't want to take the chance. I might lose if I take a chance. I might not win if I don't take a chance. You may not win, even if you play hard. I have been in games before where I played hard. I used to play a lot of racquetball. And there were times when I went to the racquetball court and I gave it everything I had and still lost. But when I left the court, I knew I had given it everything that I had. And so even though I didn't win, I didn't lose. I hope that makes sense. Let me read you a poem. This is a poem by an unknown author. I don't know who wrote this, but I like it. Let me get a sip right here, right quick. Wet my whistle. It says, there was a very cautious man who never laughed or played. He never risked, he never tried, and he never sang or prayed. And when he one day passed away, his insurance was denied. For since he never really lived, they claimed he never really died. Okay, so you're going to make an impression on somebody. The fellow you see on the screen, that's Coach Vince Lombardi, famous football coach. And this is something that he said that I liked. I'm just going to throw it out there and you can do with it what you want to. He says, start by teaching the fundamentals. Now you're building a team. So that's what he did. Start by teaching the fundamentals. The players got to know the basics of the game and how to play his position. Same way with your network marketing business. Everybody's got to know the basics of the business. Everybody's got to play their position. Next, keep him in line. Give him the training, the teaching, the coaching that he needs. That's discipline. Teach them to play as a team, not as individuals. So when you're building your team, you're going to have a lot of individuals on your team who do individual things, but make sure that you bring it into focus as a team. You'll get a whole lot further ahead. Then you've got to care for one another. So everybody that you bring into your business, remember you're going to have that inner circle. They need to care for each other. Let me just see if I've got anything else here that I need. I think I can skip most of this right here. Tell you what, buy this book. Get online and buy this book. You can buy this book on eBay for about $5. They're not expensive. It's been revised a few times. I have learned that one or two of the chapters that we've talked about in this study have actually been removed from the book and replaced with other things, and that's an author's prerogative. But let me give you a final thought, and then we will close this book. Get back here to where I'm at. I'm going to give you 4 words. I want you to understand these 4 words for you as a leader in your business. These words are vital. These things are something you need to keep in your forefront of your mind and in your heart when you are building your team and you're trying to make a difference in the lives of people around you. And these are the words. The world needs you. The world needs leadership. Your team needs a leader. They don't need somebody telling them what to do. They need a leader helping them do what they need to do and showing them that they can be a success. The world needs leaders. The world needs leaders who use their influence at the right time for the right reason. The world needs leaders who lead themselves successfully before attempting to lead others. The world needs leaders who add value to the people and the organization that they lead. As a leader, you need to add value to your team, to your organization, to your business in general. The world needs leaders who know the way, go the way, and show the way. Have you ever heard it said, walk the walk and talk the talk? Or talk the talk and walk the walk, whichever one it is. The growth and the development of people is the highest calling leadership can have. Helping people. The world needs leaders who never place themselves above others except in carrying responsibilities. That's the kind of leader that you need to be if you're going to develop the team that you want to develop. The world needs leaders. The world needs leaders who encounter setbacks and then turns them into comebacks. Network marketing, you're going to have setbacks. When you get your business going, there's somebody else going to come along and try to steal the people on your team. And some of them are going to be foolish enough to leave you and go off into some other venture that they'll lose their shirt, but somebody will dangle something shiny in front of them and they'll go after it like a bass after a lure. And finally, the world needs leaders who follow a moral compass that points in the right direction, regardless of the current trends. This concludes our study of this book. The next book and the date that we will start is to be determined, because I don't have a clue right now what we're going to go after. I've got a number of books that I'm looking at on my shelf, kind of reading through them, seeing if it's something I want to do. If you have any ideas of a book you'd like to review, let me know. This is not a one-pony show. I promise you, you can teach this class as well as I can, or I'm always happy to do it myself. My name is Jim Lafter. I live in Tulsa, Oklahoma. My phone number is 918-510-4583. My email address is jimwilma.laughter@gmail.com. You can call me on that phone number. Now, that phone number does go to a voicemail. If my phone doesn't recognize your number, it will send you to the voicemail. If it thinks you're a spam risk or a telemarketer, you won't even go to there. It'll just cut you off right there if the phone recognizes it. So if you're not a spam risk and you're not a telemarketer, and you don't get to the voicemail, shoot me a text at that phone number. I'll answer you. I really will. A little bit of my credentials, let you know that I'm not a total flake. I retired from the U.S. Air Force 31 years ago as a master sergeant. Spent 20 years active duty. I spent another 28 years in corporate sales, 21 of those with Sears and 7 of those with Coca-Cola. Been married to my sweetheart, my sweet Wilma, for 50 years and change. We're coming up on 51. We have 3 marvelous children, 5 wonderful grandchildren. And I've often said that I wouldn't trade them for anything but a truck. But you know what? I think I'm just going to hang on to all of them. I've done some writing. I've written 13 novels. You can find me on Amazon. Look me up. Order a book. I can always use the income. I've written 13 novels. 6 of them have been bestsellers. I've written some short stories. They're all on Amazon. You'll find them. I've been in some anthologies. You can find them. I am a network marketing professional. If you are looking for a way to earn a part-time income or a full-time income, and you're willing to do the work, and I don't have to chase you all over town, if you're coachable, and you're willing to learn an easy, simple system that I promise you will absolutely change your life, give me a call. Send me a text. If you've got a blanket, do smoke signals. I don't care how you do it. But I'm a network marketing professional, and I can help you help yourself. I'm a former presidential director with another company, and this is a company that we ran before that folded. We folded our 2 companies together, and currently I'm an executive team leader in our current company. So give me a second here while I get over here and say, I don't think I've got anything else to show you. Oh yeah, I do. There's my buddy. That is old Porky Pig, and old Porky says, "Ibbity, ibbity, 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 ibbity." That's all, folks. and so that's all I've got for this episode of our study. It's been a good study, and again, I recommend you go back and look at the. I recommend you go back and look at the other parts. There's 11 parts of this study. You won't get it all done in one day, but go back and look at them. dig you out some nuggets. Imagine that you're in a supermarket, you're pushing your buggy along the aisle, down the aisle. If you see something that you want to buy, it's just going to taste good. Take it off the shelf and put it in your buggy, and then go on down the aisle. Find something else that you like. Anything that you don't like, leave it on the shelf. It's the same way with our business. Same way with these studies. If you see something you like, use it. If you hear something or see something that you don't like, go past it. You're not required to follow every word that I say. I am not that prolific. All right, so that's it. We have been on here for 1 hour and 1/2 minutes. So I'm going to cut this thing off. This study's been good. I've enjoyed doing it. We'll find something else to do. And it's not going to be right away. I need a little break. And it's been good talking to you. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. And as long as you've laughed at my jokes, that's all that matters. We can handle anything else. Y'all have a great time, great day.